So we're in Brampton because, right, this is the fastest growing large city in all of Canada. And I'm so curious what that does for all of you for the affordability of living here. Amrit?
Okay, so I've noticed that house prices have gone up so much. I've lived in Brampton my whole life. I was born and raised here. So when my parents bought the house we live in now in 2002, it cost $300,000, and now our house costs over $1 million. I think it's just crazy seeing how much prices have gone up.
So you live with your parents.
Yeah.
You're 32.
Yeah, because
right?
I'm Indian. In our culture, we don't move out until we get married.
But if you did move out, would you be able to afford a place to live?
No, I have no idea how I'll ever be able to afford a house.
Harvinder, I know that as a trucker and as someone who helps feed people in the Gurdwara, you certainly see affordability right in front of you in a whole bunch of ways. How does it play out for you?
Like grocery prices, gas prices, everything has gone up. And I have seen people struggling. There's a free kitchen at the Gurdwara, and we have seen, we feed about 5,000 people every day.
Whew.
You see people coming in early in the morning and leaving at 9:30 when they close. These people are homeless. They have no place to stay.
And who is it that's mostly coming to you for help?
See, everybody can come to Gurdwara, but we have seen increased number of international students and new immigrants, not just Indian people. We have seen Canadian people, white people, black people coming to Gurdwara for food.
It's interesting when you talk about the new Canadians, because I guess when I think about the city, again, Brampton, so the average age here is younger than the rest of Canada, right? More than 50% of people who live here were born outside Canada. So there's been this surge of immigration.
Yes.
Has that caught anybody off guard?
Yes.
That surge in immigration?
You have seen increased number of international students. They were giving work permits to the visitors, and I don't know what's the policy behind, government's policy behind it. Those increased number of workers, the wages have gone down as well.
How do you see the effect of that surge in immigration?
As a business owner in downtown Brampton, I can receive at least 9 to 10 young people knocking the doors for work opportunities. So when you see this increment every single day, it's telling you that your city needs something, and something has to be done.
So how does this sit with you, Chris?
Immigration, you're allowing everybody in. I don't know why everyone's coming to Ontario or to Brampton, where I live. There's a housing crisis. No, that's a government crisis. You're putting all the people in one area. Spread it out. You want to move to the country? Okay, fine. Alberta. Move to Alberta. Guess what's cheaper in Alberta? Housing.
What is your feeling about the speed of immigration to Brampton? Too much? Does it need to be stopped, or is it just fine?
It was too much, but now I think they have slowed down the international students and issuing work permits to the visitors. It's a good thing that they finally took some action. Brampton is bursting to its seams, like everybody is coming to Brampton, and they should place those people where the need is, not that everybody should come live in Brampton.
What do you think on immigration? Has it been too much? Should it be curbed?
I am an immigrant. I'm doing everything possible, putting myself in those shoes as a Canadian, raising the flag of Canada first. And that flag of Canada also can be raised when you come into the country in the Yukon. So go and send these new immigrants living there for 2-3 years. No more Brampton, I think. You have to have the balance.
I think we should let immigrants in, but they should be coming here to do something that's going to help us. Like, for example, work in the trades. They can build more houses. That will bring the cost of houses down. My whole family immigrated here. I was born here, but my entire family's from India. So I will always be on the side of immigration.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I like immigration. This is Canada. It's a tossed salad.
Yeah.
But I agree with what we were saying. You need to spread out immigration.
You are all describing a community that just exploded in growth and seems to be bursting at the seams and unable to hang on to it.
Yeah.
Is it accurate to say that you think that this community has grown beyond its capacity to service the people?
Yeah, for sure.
Completely.
Yeah.
And what's the risk of that?
I have friends who've installed things in people's houses and can't believe the living conditions in a lot of houses. I saw for myself a room on a main floor with a bed in it and a hot plate, and then around the corner was a bathroom. That was one person living there, and they were paying $500 a month rent. Then there was people living in the basement and people living upstairs. This happens all over Brampton. There's a housing crisis. There's not enough housing. Well, and people can't afford it because houses are expensive.
In welcoming our South Asian community, and as you said previously, you love to live different generations in the same house.
Yeah.
That means for those ones that cannot afford a house, but they continue bringing their families from India, they are going to rent a one-room bedroom apartment and trying to get in three to four families. It's very unfortunate and it's heartbreaking.
You know, one of the things that certainly has drawn people here is that it's such a big manufacturing hub. Like, it's close to Toronto, it's close to the airport, huge manufacturing hub. That's provided a great career for people. It's provided a great career for you,
20
right?
years.
You were at Stellantis for 20 years?
Prize of Plan in Brampton, 20 years.
How has manufacturing served you? Like, how do you feel about your career?
While I'm working, very happy. A lot of overtime. My kids dance, that's very expensive. We live in Brampton, very expensive. Property taxes, very expensive. But when I look back on my life now, I wish I never got into it.
Why?
Every day when we were working, full tilt, there's always rumors of, oh, it's closing down. Oh, Donald Trump said this, it's gonna move to the States, it's gonna move to Mexico, it's gonna move to China. So my 20 years of being there, I don't think any year has actually gone by where you weren't scared about your livelihood, your pension.
You know, I think Brampton is actually going to be one of the hardest hit by Trump's tariffs because our economy is so tied up in the auto manufacturing industry and because Trump's tariffs are making cars more expensive here and in the US. So I think Brampton's economy will be very hit hard by the tariffs.
You're a trucker.
Yes.
What is the impact of tariffs on your life right now?
So some of the customers that we go to, they import raw material or machinery or stuff like that, and they manufacture goods that are exported to US. They have less orders now, so we're seeing less demand.
It's bad for Canada. It is bad for Canada.
So I'm curious, how does all this kind of uncertainty affect how you plan to vote?
So that's where it is tricky. So I've generally been liberal. About a month ago, I would have said conservative 100%. And then in the last couple of weeks, Donald Trump said that he would rather deal with Carney, which I think he's lying.
Psychology, right?
I think Canada, not everybody, because I know people who like him, which is fine, but I think Canada doesn't like him because he's threatening Canada. So when he says, I'd rather deal with Carney, I don't believe you. I think he wants Poilievre. So then I'm like, well, now I don't want to vote for Poilievre because I don't want to appease Donald Trump.
So do you feel like you're being played?
Yes.
Okay, so what I feel is that Mark Carney could actually stand up to Donald Trump, but I feel like Pierre Poilievre is Canada's version of Donald Trump because so much of what they say is very similar. Like, have you noticed that Pierre Poilievre's slogan is Canada first? Donald Trump's slogan was America first. And I saw a video where they showed, like, line by line, Pierre Poilievre saying things and then Donald Trump saying the exact same things. They use so much of the same terminology, and I just feel like if Pierre Poilievre as Prime Minister would be similar to Trump. He's going to create so much chaos. I'm voting Liberal for the first time.
I think Canada is forgetting what liberals have done in 8 years. So, and I don't find that right. And this is an important point where Canada as a whole, and this is the whole situation, we are thinking with the heart, with our hand and our hearts about Canada, really? Because if we continue thinking that Trump is going to continue leading our country, we're dead. We have to think as a whole. We have to think as Canada one.
I just need to poke at this a little bit. So are you saying that the focus on Trump has been a distraction?
Totally.
If any of you were sitting in front of a leader of a party now, which one would it be and what would you ask him? I'll start with Chris.
I think I would choose Mark Carney.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about why every commercial from both sides is negative about the other side. I want to know what you're doing. I would ask him, are you going to open up the pipelines? That to me would be number one for Canada.
Okay.
I would ask Pierre Poilievre why he won't get a security clearance because I don't like his answer. He said he had one when he was a cabinet minister, but that was in 2015. They expire every 5 years, so his reason doesn't make sense. And also, he doesn't allow media to travel with him during the campaign. So I feel like, what is he hiding? I just don't trust him.
Okay.
I did not know that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I have for both of them the question of how both of them are going to defend the sovereignty of Canada as a superhero, which sometimes we are looking for. who is going to be the superhero that is going to have the answer to defend Canada first, and how they are going to tackle the burn and taxes.
Harvinder.
I'll ask Mark Carney, ask him to listen to common people, put his ear to the ground, stop listening to the advisor from big think tanks who are funded by big companies. So start listening to people like this show. You have done shows you're going to do all over Canada. Listen to what people have to say for it. Then he can have better understanding what people's issues are.
So I'm just curious if we can do a show of hands here. Hands up if you had very strong feelings about how you would vote in a Canadian election before Donald Trump came into office. You were pretty sure how you would vote in a Canadian election? You were as well?
I was 100% sure who I was voting for. Now I'm 50-50.
Well, before Trump came in, I was going to vote NDP. After Trump came in and Mark Carney became the new Liberal leader, I changed to Liberal.
I am sure.
Were you sure before Trump came in?
I was.
Okay.
I was. As I said before, you have 8 years to change Canada. You had those 8 years to shift the country differently, and you didn't. What is make you think you are going to do it now?
And has the presence of Donald Trump changed your mind on how you might vote? For you, it's a no.
No.
Okay.
Yes, for me.
For you, it's a
Yes
yes.
for me.
Yes for you.
No.
No, it hasn't.
No. I was never a conservative, and looking at Bolivar, everybody can say when you are in opposition that this thing is broken or it's not working. But he never floated any kind of idea that how he's going to fix it.
You had a perspective and you're still sticking with your perspective. I wonder how many people, though, are confused in Canada about how they're going to vote now because of the presence of Donald Trump, because of the great distraction of Donald Trump. What is this thing that's playing out in
There's
your
so
head?
many distractions in my head. Politics, I was never a fan of. I never cared about that. I started paying attention in roughly 2016. Now, what happened in 2016?
Trump got
The
elected.
Apprentice became president of the United States of America. So that got me interested. So I think people have gone so far left, which I hate.
Yeah.
People have gone so far right that I hate. So then Pierre Poilievre came in and said, I'm going to take out carbon tax. And then Carney comes up and says, yeah, we're going to do that. No, but you put it in. You can't. This is where you said, don't forget what they've done for the last 8 to 10 years. There's probably so much government waste financially. Maybe you can find out how to cut down on government spending before you raise taxes on everybody.
Correct. Yeah. The misuse, the mismanagement of funds from taxpayers' money is huge.
And this is why I'm 50-50.
And you're still not sure, eh?
Yeah.
So you don't vote?
But at the end of the day, this to me is telling me, regardless who is going to go to be our next prime minister, at the end of the day, you drive your life. You have to continue working. You have to continue going there to bring the best to your family's table. It's your responsibility. The government and the political sector can only make it a little easier, but never have been easier. And we are going to get over on all of these issues. And we are going to keep going. But one thing I never been more sure about it is the potential that Canada has as a country. And we are here, and it's our responsibility, regardless.
Yeah, I do love all the Canadian pride that we're seeing these days, and the whole elbows up movement. I think that's been great, at least.
And my boutique is an espresso bar. So in our boutique, we used to sell Americano coffees. Today is the Canadiano coffee.
That's great. I love that.
You guys are great sports. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that.